Hello everyone, welcome back to Developing Soft Skills and Personality course. This is week number 7, module 4, lecture number 40. I have been talking about nonverbal communication in general, and in particular this week we are going to interpret nonverbal cues. This is the concluding module on nonverbal communication. So far I have taught you various aspects of nonverbal communication, body language in particular. But today let us try to understand what are the issues related to interpreting, identifying, and then exactly trying to correlate what their inner thoughts are based on the body language. Now, before I start, as usual, let us take a quick review of what I did in the previous lecture. In the previous lecture, I focused on body language and then talked to you about the basics and universals. While talking to you about the basics and universals, I started with a kind of disclaimer. I said that we should use caution while applying some basic and universal body language, especially when we try to apply that in the Indian context, because in the Western context, sometimes what is considered defensive gesture like crossing arms can mean even a gesture of confidence. In some cases it can even refer to a kind of offensive gesture depending on the way a person crosses the arms. Feet, we spend some time looking at feet because they can be indicators of attraction, but they can also suggest withdrawal or dislike. And then I proceeded to look at more basics and universals indicating openness, defensiveness, insecurity, cooperation, confidence, nervousness, frustration, etc. Towards the end, I concluded by motivating you with the thought that body language is something that is innate, something that is in our system, something that is part and parcel of us. You do not have to go for a training and externally take something to imbibe that in you. What you need to do is what is latent in you, you have to actualize, you have to make it manifested by good efforts, practice and perseverance. So, with all the tips that I have been giving you, I was telling you it will be possible for you to do that. Now, in this module, let us come to the most interesting and challenging aspect of nonverbal communication as such, that is interpreting nonverbal cues. Cues are the small clues, tips you are getting, indicators that you are getting based on which you can actually interpret, form a meaning, form a coherent idea. Albert Mehrabian in Silent Messages way back in 1971 identified three primary dimensions. What are they? What are the three primary dimensions by which we can interpret nonverbal cues? He talked about immediacy, arousal and dominance. These are the three primary dimensions. Let us look at them and understand what actually they indicate. Immediacy indicates the immediacy cues which will communicate liking and pleasure. Immediacy, which means we move toward persons and things we like and avoid or move away from those we dislike. And generally we instinctively decide whether we like someone or not and then later find reasons to back up our feelings. So, when we like someone, we gravitate, we move towards, and the same way when somebody is liking us, we are also attracting the person towards us, but this is based on the cues, immediacy cues, our spontaneous response towards somebody. The next one he refers to is arousal. Now, not used in a sexual sense, but it is something similar to animation. When you are excited, the whole body gets excited and your responsiveness is shown completely from the body, starting from the eyes, the expansion of the eyes, the dilation indicates that you are so much interested in that, but overall body shows a kind of animation in terms of responsiveness. If interested in a person, we tend to be more animated, more lively, more excited, and if not interested, we tend to become very inactive, as if we are dead. We do not even show any body language, we close our body language. a flat tone of voice and very little movement indicate a lack of interest. Would you like to have a cup of coffee? Yes, of course. I'll be always happy to have it with you. Okay, this is animatedness. Would you like to have a cup of coffee? Maybe, not sure. So, this is indicating that you are not that much really interested in going to the person for a cup of coffee. Dominance is the third cue that he gives. It is about balance of power. It indicates information about status, position. High status people generally have relaxed body posture as against low status people who have a kind of fixed, constricted body posture. So, that again indicates the balance of power. So, this is one aspect, but at the same time he also suggests a simple way along with this. He says that remember the 3 C's. Look at the context, identify the context, that is, look at the background in which a person is behaving, moving, exhibiting certain traits, and then try to combine that, group it, that is cluster. When you cluster it, you try to see that in a group, and then look for change in behavior. So, a simple example is the boy is sitting somewhere in the middle in the auditorium, and a girl comes and then she sits somewhere in the corner first, and slowly the room is getting filled. After some time, the girl gets up and then looks at the seat next to the boy, and then she comes and sits, occupies the seat next to the boy. The boy jumps into the conclusion, he is in joy because he understood using the body language cues that if somebody is coming close to you, it indicates likeness. Okay. But he failed to look at the context. What is the context? She is slightly feeling feverish, and then the AC was so cold and she was sitting next to the AC. So, she wanted to move away and then occupy a place in the center, and the only space that was left was next to the boy. So, that is the context. So, you have to look for external clues which are available in the context that is also trying to modify the behavior of the person. Group it and then look for change. Now, grouping is normally, let us say a person smiles at the boss in the morning, but the previous day he has stolen something, so he is not smiling, and then normally he gives a handshake, okay, he is avoiding. Now, the change in the behavior, look at the change, instead of not only avoiding the handshake, because he feels when he gives it will be a kind of dead fish handshake, he is avoiding that, but there is a change, he is saying namaste sir, or he is just saluting him. So, now this change indicates that there is something wrong in the behavior. So, you have to look at the context, cluster and change before you form a kind of opinion. Now, we should also look at things like identifying people. One of the very interesting things that we can identify as you try to become a non-verbalist is how to identify somebody who is telling you the truth and how to identify somebody who is telling you a lie. Particularly, identifying a liar is real fun. So, you can easily identify by some of the symptoms like sweating, biting of fingernails, chewing of the inside of the mouth, drying up of the mouth, covering the mouth, and then rubbing the nose continuously. Now, by these things, normally children and then people who are less aware of body language, you can easily catch them that they are trying to tell a lie. So, in short, if they are bad liars, they are novice, they are inexperienced, or if they are lying to someone that knows them well, But some people are excellent liars and can mask all of the above. So, and some are like by profession they have to hide the truth. For example, lawyers. So, they have to sometimes argue in favor of the client, but they may know the truth, but then in terms of defending them, what appears to be a lie. So, they have to say that without showing that they are actually trying to hide the truth. So, they have become excellent in terms of hiding it. Now, if you look at professional liars, that is those who are in profession who are using this, they have actually refined their body gestures. So, you can identify that they are telling lie only by observing the combinations of behaviors that a person is displaying in terms of the 3 C's. And then the ability to tell whether someone is lying depends on many factors that must be observed rather than just one factor that can completely mislead you. So, change, differences in behavior from the normal behavior, variation in the normal eye contact duration, the person is actually trying to avoid eye contact, and even the tendency to look up instead of looking at you, looking up, maybe to cook up something. Hand gestures, over excessive hand gestures or complete lack of gestures. So, what do police interrogators do? They will put the suspect's body in full view. Even sometimes they completely remove their dress, completely they make them naked, and they just or they keep them with minimum clothes and then put complete floodlight on them, and they observe even any tiny movement from the face, from the eye, from the hand, feet, to identify whether the suspect is telling the truth or not. Now, if you ask me, so how do we tell a lie? So, as I indicated before when we talked about telephone skills, the best way to lie is over the telephone. Because the other person is not sitting with you face to face, and it is very easy to lie to the other person over the telephone. Again, there is a caution to the one who is not so trained in body language, to the one who is not so intimate and not able to see the change in your tone, see the paralinguistic errors you are committing when you are telling a lie. So, that is for the very inexperienced ones, but somebody who is expert in non-verbal communication even can slightly see when you try to tell lie over the phone. But compared to telling a lie face to face, telling a lie on phone is much easier. Now, the next part of this lecture, I want to focus on the challenges of studying non-verbal communication. Why is it putting you a lot of problems? The first thing you should know is non-verbal messages are often ambiguous, which means they appear to be one, but they give you more than one meaning. I will give an example soon, but understand that the person who is thinking something and displaying a behavior may not the same one what you think the person is trying to express. So, for example, there are people who have frozen facial expression for everything, and some people do not even smile when they are happy. They smile inside, okay, maybe in the eye there is a slight indication that they are smiling, but they are generally by nature serious people. So, you cannot mistake that by thinking that the person is in deep sorrow. The second challenge is non-verbal messages are continuous. So, they do not stop, okay, they keep coming. So, that is again challenging. Gestures, facial expressions and eye contact can flow from one situation to the next. It is possible to stop talking, but it is generally not possible to stop non-verbal cues. The next challenge is that they are multi-channeled. So, you think that you will look at only the face and you will attend to only one non-verbal cue at a time, but what is happening and what kind of indication is coming from the feet? When you look at the face, you ignore what is happening at the feet. And what is this guy doing when he is putting the hands on the back? So, that is giving you something. So, only one channel you are able to observe. Then the other interesting thing is that people have studied that the negative nonverbal thing commands your attention before the positive one, which means if somebody is getting angry and then that anger is shown to you first and you try to get the negative inputs, and by the time the person changes his or her mind and feels okay, I made a mistake, and then feels compassionate and changes the expression on the face, but the positive thing you take time to notice. Okay, so this is another danger when you are trying to interpret study nonverbal communication. And the other interesting factor is that it is culture based. So although there are universals and basics which we studied in the previous one, we should also remember that culturally they are different. And the much more interesting thing is that positive gestures in one culture may be seen as obscene in another. So the thumbs up gesture in the USA is considered positive. In Britain and Australia and even in New Zealand, so the gesture becomes negative and it can indicate abuse and insult, especially when the thumb is kept in a very erect manner. So it has some abusive connotation. So you have to be very careful as where you are using this. So the final caution that I am trying to give you in terms of using nonverbal communication is that the main point is that don't apply one piece of information as meaning everything. You must be observant of all the possible factors that may be contributing to the other person's movements, including things like temperature, climate and weather. So somebody comes running to you, okay, so you should not think that she is running because she is interested in me. So it's going to rain and already it has started drizzling. She doesn't want to get wet. So she is just coming to the place where you are standing, where there is shade. So look around, what is the climate doing, what is the weather doing, what is the change that might possibly make this person behave in such a manner. So don't jump to conclusions, be aware of your surroundings and familiarize yourself with the other person's habits, especially if you know the person for a long time. Note the habits, note the normal behavior, gestures, signs and body language before making any assumptions. Remember the 3 C's, particularly the change in the behavior will give you a lot of cues, but at the same time see whether the change is because of something that is happening in the background. If that is the case, then you have to be very careful. Look at this simple example. When you look at this puppy, this small dog is opening the mouth and then it looks like it's showing aggression, and if you go near it looks like it's going to bite you. But however, when you look more closely and then you see that the eyes are closed and then the ears are back, because in aggression the eyes are also wide open and the ears are straight and pointing upwards. Now this is simply the pup is yawning, it's feeling sleepy. Okay, it's not at all aggressive, it's completely at the other side, it's completely feeling tired and it wants to take rest. So it's possible that you jump into conclusion only by looking at the time it opened its mouth and then you thought that it's going to bite you, but actually it was yawning. So this can happen even in terms of human communication. You may look at one thing and then you try to jump into conclusion. The other thing that can happen is mostly in terms of clothing and appearance. So clothing and appearance as nonverbal communication tell who we are, our age, gender, status, socio-economic class and race. But since body language, nonverbal communication is not an exact science, it's very easy to make a bad or false first impression based on what you wear and how you look. A guy who looks very smart, very handsome, and the girl who looks really attractive and intelligent may not be really good at heart. They could be so mean. And the guy who looks so punky and then so uncouth, so uncivilized may be really good at heart and maybe a real good friend, maybe really loyal, really sincere. So some of the sayings which we hear about appearance have really some substance in them. sayings like all that glitters is not gold, appearance is deceptive. So, keep those ones in mind and then use them with a pinch of salt, that whenever you look at some person, it's okay, you may form good impression at the beginning, but then try to corroborate with their action also consistently. Now, the next question that might come to your mind is that how do we control our body language? If all the time we are exhibiting things from our subconscious mind, which sometimes even we are not aware of, so how do we control it? Now, the best way to control body language is to be aware of it in the first place. This entire week, I have been spending more time of non-verbal communication, body language, so that you are created an awareness and you know what is good and what is bad, what is positive and what is negative. At least the negative body language, if at all you are exhibiting, you should try to control. And then people are different by nature. There are some people who have extremely open body language. They all the time use their gestures. Their face is so animated, so expressive. Anything they feel, you can see that very transparently. But there are others who actually learn to control their emotions. You don't actually see from the face what they really think inside or what they really feel inside. Look at an actor. The first trick an actor learns is how to express emotion with his body, not just the face, but the whole body. The very famous actors, if you see, they are shown on the backside, so they are sobbing, they are crying, they are feeling sad, but from the backside of the body they are able to express that, and you can also feel the sorrow. The confidence walk, okay, when the hero is introduced, you are just shown the legs, you are just shown the feet, okay, before actually the camera moves up and then the camera tries to show the face. Now, how the person is able to show emotions through the feet? So, that is through practice, knowledge, expertise, which you can also develop. So, you should understand therefore that it is possible to turn your back on someone and make them aware that you are angry or sad, okay, even from the back side, not only through face, even by your hand, even by your leg, you can emote feelings on the one hand, but on the other hand you can also try to control when you know that they are not indicating exactly what you have in your mind, or you know that they are going to be negative in terms of giving meaning to the other person, then you try to control those negative and unwarranted behavior. You should try to become competent communicators in terms of using body language. Who are competent communicators and what are the indications? Now, competent communicators are good at monitoring their non-verbal messages. They know how they are sending their messages using body language, and they are also able to monitor messages from others. This is a kind of emotional intelligence, that you are able to study others' non-verbal behavior as well as you are able to monitor and control your own non-verbal behavior. And they are able to develop a wide range of non-verbal behaviors to use in different situations. This means in a formal occasion they can be very formal, in an informal occasion they can be just free, they can be very jovial, they can crack jokes, and they can be completely free with their body language. When they want to control, they can control. When they want to show anger, they can show anger. When they know that this is not the context situation where they can show anger, they can control it. So, they can develop a wide range of nonverbal behaviors to use in different situations. Now, the next question is, which I asked at the beginning, but now in a different manner, why should we learn body language? Just to recollect some of the arguments which we discussed at the beginning, it is very difficult to fake body language for a long period of time. So, if you want to tell a lie using your body language, it is not possible. So, why not you try to speak the truth using your body? And then it's good to learn and to use positive open gestures to communicate with others, to eliminate gestures that may give negative signals. Use positive gestures and eliminate negative ones. What will happen? You will feel more comfortable to be with people, because you know that people are not going to misunderstand you for any reasons, because you are good in verbal as well as in non-verbal communication, and can become more acceptable to them. They know that you are harmless, you are pleasant, you are nice to talk to, and they know that you are not hiding something. Okay. And then they know that you are honest, you are open in communication, and that actually will make you live in a very happy and harmonious environment and surrounding. Towards the conclusion, just to sum up, what are the positive body language indicators that you should develop? Okay. I have told them in scattered manner at different points of time during this lecture on nonverbal communication, but quickly smile. Okay. So, nothing is going to substitute smile wherever possible. Even if people are going to make fun of you by saying that you are smiling so wide like that actor or actress in that, or models in the toothpaste advertisement, does not matter, but as much as possible you smile. The next one is open posture. So, closed defensive ones, but then open arms, open hand, okay, any kind of open gesture. So, that indicates that you are honest. And then forward lean. So, while talking to somebody, while in discussion, the forward lean indicates empathy, sympathy, interest, inclination towards the other person, and it makes the one who is sitting in front feel more comfortable. So, when you are just leaning on the back and then putting hand on your neck and then listening, you are aggressive and you are not paying enough attention to the person who is sitting in front of you. Touch, use it gently, use it for healing. So, whether it is handshake or pat or even hug or even just gently touching somebody. So, it all makes you connect to the other person and communicate more than what words can do. And eye contact is something that you should maintain in formal as well as in informal situations. Even if you are afraid, you try to maintain the eye contact as much as possible. Gestures and nods, which are very important in active listening, which are very important in communication as such. So, the more you use gestures, the more you use nods, you become more acceptable to people and they start liking you very much. So, these are positive body language indicators, expressions which you need to develop by paying attention, by even imitating the people you like, by even mirroring those good gestures you find before you, and even practicing every time, like people whom you like, the way they smile, the way they lean forward, the way they are using touch, the way they maintain eye contact. So, observe that and then you try to imitate and then you develop that in you. Now, towards the conclusion, I just want you to check whether you have become an expert by this time. If I give a scenario like this, a picture like this, and then I ask you to tell me quickly, instantaneously, who is more interested. So, I have given enough basics and universals, and then even if you apply the basics and universals, there are two people here, one a woman and another one is a man. Who is more interested in whatever is happening here? So, if you have made your conclusion, and I want you it to be spontaneous, okay. If you have made up your mind, let me give my opinion and answer on this. So, look at what I have marked. There is eye contact maintained in both cases. So, I assume that okay, they are honest with each other at one point. Now, some of the clues, like the hair in the front by the woman, her hand is open, okay, she is giving something, And if you look at it, maybe they are involved in a kind of bartering, that is without money they are exchanging commodity. Maybe she is giving some kind of stone and he is giving some kind of floor or something in exchange, but in the exchange it looks like she is more interested, obviously, because of the hair in the front, eye contact, and then the hand protruding outside and then more open, and then even the feet is this side. Okay. Now, in comparison, if you look at him, so one hand is almost hidden, the other one, even the palm is on the back. So, it is indicating that he is rather withdrawn, is not that much interested. But if you look at the feet compared to both of them, in his case both the feet are open, indicating that he is rather more interested. And if you look at one of the feet of her is on the back, maybe we can think that because there is no seat, there is no chair or anything to sit, so she is supporting by using the other feet. But if you blindly apply the basics, like one foot on the back and the other foot in the front, so when you observe and when you compare to this guy, in his case both the feet are in the front and open. So, now it is somewhat misleading to conclude that she is more interested, although it is giving more clues. So, it is equally sometimes looking like she is more interested, but maybe she is holding something back, and then this guy is also open, maybe he is also trying to hold something back. Now, then we can understand that maybe they are in a business kind of relationship. So, they are trying to exchange something with each other. So, they do not want to give someone something so easily, they want to make the best deal. So, to make the best deal, so you do not give in so easily. So, you can see that they are interested in transaction, both of them, but they are withholding things at their own level. So, for an observer we can know that initially the lady looks to be more interested, but then equally the person also looks more interested because of the open feet, and the lady looks withholding something because of keeping one foot on the back. So, this is how you can analyze. Okay. And having said this, I am not going to claim that this is the final message and that is what they are doing. There is a possibility that I might have slightly interpreted this wrongly, but I am just trying to tell you how you can use the basics and universals. And most of the times, like when you develop and then observe more cues, you may not be wrong. And this is what we call as intuition, but actually we back our intuition by the nonverbal cues we get from the people whom we observe. So, this lecture is actually concluding the general information that I have to give about nonverbal communication. In the next two lectures, I am just going to focus on how you can look at body language in interviews, followed by how we can maintain body language in group discussions. So, thank you for watching this video. I wish you have a very nice day.